Hello, it's Curls from Curls Cozy Gaming. I'm back with the second installment of Mira for the 1.4 Reverly season. This season can be a bit resource intensive depending on how long you've been playing and what materials you've managed to gather. The good news, this is another free to play friendly limited Pinnacle Contest, so you don't need to worry about pulling on any current banners to participate. I've gathered the total scoring for each round, whether it's a rough estimate or a more precise total. I also want to point out something that's been brought to my attention. The recommended button doesn't always work as intended. It tends to prioritize your highest scoring pieces even if they don't match the category requirements, so be sure to double check what it's suggesting, especially if you're relying on it to build your wardrobe. It's helpful but not foolproof unless you already have top tier pieces that fit the criteria. So I have already cleared Mira. I got my 24 out of 24 stars. For effects, we still have the 15% to all glowed up pieces towards the scoring. And just to show you, this is my Heart Infinity bonuses. I mostly have all the base ones, and the one that is locked behind Silvergale's Aria, which is the plus 40 points to all elegant stats. So that is gonna help me towards the last round. Just to give you guys a heads up, for our first round, it is asking for elegant. If you are a new player that is free to play, I highly recommend leveling up Winds of Purity. This is a pretty good elegant outfit that will get you through most of your styling challenges. It has helped me personally through a lot of mine if you are not at the point to get Wishful Rosa. However, if you did get the dress from Marquise, this will also help you. Fluttering Wishes, this is a 5-star elegant dress. And that is what I'm using for round 1 because I will be needing this in the last round. For Rika's, I have the Dream Waltz for the head and feet. And for my hands, I am using the Ray Plume. But for a newer player, you will just need the Ray Plumes. You don't have to worry about getting the Dream Waltz right now. Both of these have the main attributes for elegant. Another choice if you are a newer player is the Melted Snow set. It is a 4-star, but since this is an early round, you won't have a hard time getting through with these. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 24,295. For round 2, it is asking for fresh. For a new free-to-play player, I recommend Forest Fluttering if you have a decent amount of these pieces from the permit banner. Another choice is Floral Memory. This is the gliding outfit you get from Stoneville. And lastly, we have Hometown Breeze. If you have been collecting your dues and turning them to kilo and you have gotten enough Boldy crystals, this is another good choice compared to Floral Memory. You can also use Mama's Rain. This is a heartfelt gift. Kind of like an event item that we get for free. You can claim this in the shop, and it's also a 4-star, so it wouldn't hurt to use this if you are just starting out. For Rika's, I am using the rainbow for the head and the hands, and for the feet I am using the Moonlit Ode. You don't have to get Moonlit Ode since this is like really later in the story. A set of rainbows will work instead. However, if you are new, a set of the Wind's Rhythm is perfectly fine as well. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 35,600. This is a rough estimate. For round 3, it is asking for cool. For free to play, if you have been pulling on the permanent banner and you have a decent amount of the Shark Mirage pieces, this will work for this round. Or if you have done the fireworks main quest, Fiery Glow will work as well. Other options is Rippling Serenity, Fully Charged, and Refined Grays. I have seen people use Refined Grays as a flex suit since it does have more pieces, or it has less pieces to work with, so you're able to fill in the accessories for higher star items like 4 stars, but preferably 5 stars to carry you through styling challenges. So this would also work for round 3 since this is a early round. However, other options is Raging Boldy. This is a 5-star sketch that you can get from the first boss early on in the story. Another option is the Endless Hug. It is a sketch that you get from defeating the cage bird. I forgot its name, but I know it's like cage something. Maybe there's greed in it. But this is like in the middle of the story, so it might take you a little while to get there. For Rika's, I am using a full set of Void Hunts. You do not need to get this for this round since this is an early round. This just happens to be the best cool set of Rika's for 5 stars because it is the only set. Another option will be the Mass Magic. They are the only 4 stars for cool. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 35,400. This is a rough estimate. For round 4, it is asking for sexy and elegant. For free to play, your best option is Star Wish Echoes if you have not pulled for the sexy outfit in the permanent banner. This is a 4-star suit and it has carried me through a decent amount of styling challenges that requires sexy. You can get the sketch set from Kilo. It is one of the last sketches you can get from him. However, it does cost a lot of dues in order to get the sketches and a decent amount of boldy crystals to craft this. And if you have Searching for Dreams, I think this might work as well since this is a early round. This is more of a flex piece since there is more slots to work with when it comes to the accessories, so you can stack 4 stars or 5 stars with this set if you don't have a lot of options. If you have been pulling on the Scam-O-Matic, you can use the Chestnut Serenade. This is a 4-star item. However, if you do need to mix in pieces, you can use pieces from Wishful Rosa, Wind of Purity. For standalone pieces, we have Gale Crystal. This is a 4-star clothing piece that you can get from a sketch. We also have the Wishful Honors. You can find this in the chest accessories. Once you complete the standard Mira crown, you just have to pass the last round with 1 star, as well as the Eternal Blossom. For Rika's, I am using Misty Waves. I believe this is the set. Yes, it is the set. This is the only set that is a 5-star Arika that has the main attribute for sexy. Since this is only attainable later in the story, you can use Heart Kiss. It is a level 4 sexy Arika. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 39,891. For round 5, it is asking for sweet and trendy. And in order to get the 3rd star, in order to clear, you need to wear more than 2 sweet and trendy pieces. For this round, I did use the recommend button to throw on the pieces that I already have, but I did switch out some pieces in order to use Fruity Wish. This is a pretty good suit to use for mixing and matching since it has a main attribute for sweet, but also a secondary tag for trendy, and that is going to come in handy for your more than 2 sweet and trendy pieces. But what I have on is a mixture of Crystal Poems and Rebirth Wish. Both of them are sweet outfits. You can get Crystal Poems from the permanent banner, and a Rebirth Wish is the first set of sketches that you can get from Kilo. Pretty easy to get from him with the dues, and it's not too bad to make. And if you do need help trying to figure out which pieces to use, I do use the filter a lot. I switch this from, it's usually on score when you start, but I switch it to theme since it'll put like all my full outfits and pieces towards the top that matches the category for the rounds. And they usually put it in order, like by scoring, but most of my outfits are pretty high score, so they'll be a little up higher. But however, you can use Bye Bye Dust, Bubbly Voyage, Sweet Jazz Nice, this is from the permanent banner, Afternoon Shine, Starlit Burst, Symphony of Strings, and Scarlet Dream. Even though this is a 3-star outfit, it does have some flexibility in order to stack some 4 stars or 5 stars to up your scoring. Taking a look at my pieces, my hair is glowed up, my dress is glowed up, my jacket is glowed up, my socks from Fruity Wish is at level 0. My shoes are glowed up. The hair clip from Fruity Wish is at level 0. For headwear, I am using the bow from Fruity Wish. This is at level 0. My bracelet is also level 0. It is from Fruity Wish. I am using the ring from Crystal Poems. This is at level 0. And another good item to have is the Hidden Sentiments bouquet. Its main attribute is sweet, and it has a secondary tag for trendy, so that will help. And it also has fashion, but that's irrelevant for this round. And this is at level 0. For Ricos, the game has recommended me Afterglow for the head, hands, and for the feet it is first Snow, so just taking a quick look at my score details. I got a score of 70,141. As you saw, this round is pretty free to play friendly. I didn't use many gacha pieces for this except for the Crystal Poems from the permanent banner. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 55,968. For round 6, it is asking for Cool and Lin Long. In order to get the 3rd star for a perfect clear, you need to have a complete glowed up cool outfit. So for my complete cool glowed out outfit, I am using Moments Capture since this was one of the first suits I got. I have leveled this up completely over time since the release of the game. But other choices you can use is Shark Mirage. If you have the complete outfit, this is gonna work. It has a pretty good score. Mine isn't really leveled up pretty well, so I don't know what the base score is. I think this is just my total score for the outfit overall, but it is better than Fiery Glow, Rippling Serenity, and Fully Charged. It just depends on what you're using and what you have leveled up so far. But I think Refined Grace might work as well since you do have a lot of space to add on 5-star accessories for this. I wouldn't recommend using 4 stars since this is a pretty late round and the scoring just gets harder and harder as you go on. And another thing, you can add on socks to this outfit, so that is also a plus. And a good item to have is the Endless Hug. This is a 5-star sketch that you can get from the second boss, the Cage Greedbird. Is that what its name is? I keep forgetting. But you can just add this on and it won't be too bad. But since I don't have like the suit leveled up, I am just gonna go with my recommended. And for Rika's, I am using the set of Void Hunts, head, hands, feet. They are all level 10. Their main attribute is cool. And this is the only set that is a 5-star cool. Another one you can possibly use, but I'm not entirely sure, is Mass Magic. However, this is a 4-star set. It'll just be harder to pass with these if you do not have the 5-star set. Taking a look at my score details really quick, I got a total of 81,102. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 72,807. For round 7, it is asking for fresh, elegant, and pastoral. And in order to get the 3rd star for this round, you need to wear more than 4 fresh and pastoral pieces in order to clear it. So what I'm using for this round is Forest Fluttering. You can get this from the permit banner, and it will work if you have a decent amount of the higher scoring pieces from this suit. However, another option is Hometown Breeze. This is also another 4-star suit, but it does have fresh as its main attribute and pastoral as its secondary tag. And since I am using the filter, I have noticed the free outfit that we get from the event, Floating Blossom. They have this up as a second recommendation for me. However, I don't think this will be a very good use compared to Hometown Breeze, since it does go over the accessory limit, and so you have to pick and choose which is the higher scoring piece for this outfit. For mixing and matching more pieces with the requirement, you can go with Silvergale's Aria, since this is a 5-star suit that has a main attribute for fresh. However, this does take a while to unlock all the sketches and crafting it. Adding in some elegant pieces, you can go with Wishful Rosa. I highly recommend using this over Winds of Purity because Wishful Rosa is a 5-star suit and have a better scoring in the end for like the accessories. And if you still have room in your accessories slot, you can also add in Eternal Blossom. This is an elegant piece. It is 5 stars that you can get from the standard Mira crown. You just need to pass the last round with 1 star. For my Rikas, I am using the complete set of the rainbows, head, hands, and feet, since they do have a secondary tag for pastoral. That will come in handy because it will add more points towards your score. Taking a look at my score details, I got a total score of 114,987. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total of 93,824. And for the last round, round 8, It is asking for elegant and royal, and in order to get the last star for this round, you need to wear more than 2 elegant and royal pieces in order to get the perfect rating. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of options when it comes to free to play. If you did pull on the current 5-star banner, Crimson Rhapsody will be your best choice. Its main attribute is elegant and its secondary tag is royal. However, for mixing and matching, you will have to use Wishfield Rosa. That's what I have most of on, and I'm not sure if Winds of Purity will be a good choice for this. I barely pass with trying to stay free to play for this round, so that is a maybe because you will probably have to invest in the flat notes after you unlock the Silver Gale sketches. For my hair, I am using Wishful Rosa right here, Vibrant Gold Vines. For my dress, this is a free-to-play dress that you can get from the Marquise Boutique. This is Fluttering Wish. I have glowed it up for this round, and it also has the secondary tag for Royal. For my jacket, I'm using Size of Time. This is from the Endless Longing. This is the second evolution of it. My socks is Arosa Traces. This is glowed up. My shoes is Gold Leaf Accent. It is glowed up. For hair accessories, I am using Gale Crystal. This is a sketch that you can craft. This is glowed up. My earrings is Golden Butterfly. It is glowed up. And then for my third piece, for elegant and royal, I am using the Budding Sprout. This is a sketch that you can get. It is at level 0. And then for my handheld item, I am using Eternal Blossom. This is glowed up. You can get this from completing the standard Mira crown. You just have to get 1 star on the last round. For my Rikas, I am using Dreamals for the head, and for the feet, they are both level 10. And for my hands, I am using the Ray Plume. It is level 10. So that is what I used when I cleared it the first time. But I can check and see if the Ray Plume set will work for this round. So let's give that a try. But do keep in mind, I do have some points invested in the flat notes for elegant. That is 40 points. And it looks like it works. It looks like I'm like right on the dot. So for my total score, I got 92,843. Even though this is a free-to-play friendly round, there is limited items of what you can use in order to pass that requirement for wearing more than 2 elegant and royal pieces. In order to get a perfect clear, you need a total score of 92,683. I hope you find this video helpful as you work your way through this Mira Crown season. As always, my tips are based on my personal gameplay, so they may not be 100% perfect, but feel free to share your own tips and suggestions in the comments to help others too. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I post Let's Plays and more. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!